Welcome to Japan and More, where we answer your questions about traveling Japan. Today's question is, what are tips for responsible travel in Japan? Well, this is a great question, especially since there's been a huge increase in tourism. In fact, when I first went to Japan in 1997, there were only about 4 million tourists a year. And just to compare, in 2019, that number was 31 million. So that's a huge increase. And actually, 2013 was the first time that the number of tourists reached 10 million. So there's been a really large increase in a very short amount of time. And the Japanese government has set a goal of 60 million tourists by 2030. So I don't know if it'll happen or not, but we all need to be concerned about responsible travel.
This increase in tourism has led to cultural clashes between Japanese people and the tourists that are visiting Japan. In Japan, there's a lot of social rules that are not always apparent, and Japanese people will never tell you when you're doing something wrong. It's kind of unwritten rules that they kind of live by, and everyone just is expected to know. So today we'll be discussing a few things that you should know before you visit Japan, so that way you'll have a positive experience on your holiday in Japan. So we'll be discussing accepting the rules, noise, what to do with your trash, feet and shoes, queuing up, and taking pictures. So let's start with accepting the rules. For a country almost half the population of the United States and condensed into about the size of Montana, it is clean and consistently one of the top 10 safest countries in the entire world. Basically, if there's a rule, then it should be followed. They don't question the rules. You just kind of learn about the rule and then you accept it, and that's it. The one tip that I can give you is look for posted signs. So there's posted signs all over Japan, everywhere you go. Just look for the posted sign and that will tell you the rules. There's posted signs for not eating while walking. There's posted signs for photography. There's posted signs for not sitting on steps. So just wherever you are, just look for the sign. If you see a sign, then that's the rule. It supersedes anything anyone tells you because that's the sign and that's the rule. The sign's purpose is to keep them from having to confront you. So they don't have to come and tell you what the rule is. There's a sign there. So make sure you just read signs and pay attention to them. And just it'll usually answer any of the questions you have about, well, what's the rule? That's my best advice.
Next is noise. And this is a really big one. If you are on public transportation, and that includes the bullet train, you should be very careful about how loudly you speak to each other. Try to keep your voices down. You don't have to whisper, but I think it's good just to keep it at a very low talking voice. But not only talking, it's also music. You need to wear headphones so that the music doesn't play out loud, or even videos. You shouldn't watch videos with your friend or your family on the train with the sound on. You should use headphones. Even if you have the sound really low, it's still not acceptable. So you need to use headphones for any sound, including music or videos, and your phone.
Video games.
Yeah, and video games, yeah. And your phone. You need to turn the ringer off. There's a little switch if you have an iPhone that you can just turn off the sound. And that's so it doesn't make any noise when you when you touch the buttons.
For texting.
For texting, yeah. And also when the ringer goes off. So any kind of noise you should be conscious of. In general, public transportation is very quiet. And this is so people can relax during their commute to work or going home.
And another thing I'd like to point out is the Tokyo Metro has manner posters posted all over the subways, and a lot of the train lines have manner posters posted in the trains. And These have been going on since the 70s. So these are posters to kind of train people how to behave on public transportation. So again, it's the posted sign.
Okay, next, let's talk about trash. This is also a hot topic. In 2018, Japan hit headlines at the World Cup in Russia when the Japanese fans were seen cleaning up after themselves after the games, after each of the 4 games, actually. The fans brought trash bags and cleaned everything up in the stands and left it exactly the way it was when they first arrived. Even the soccer team cleaned the changing room and then left a thank you note. So, the idea here is that in general, in Japan, you carry your trash. There are not a lot of public trash cans, and this is because everyone is encouraged to pick up after themselves and to bring a plastic bag with you and keep your trash in the plastic bag. And then you can throw it away once you get home, or in the case of tourists, once you get back to your hotel. And actually, there's some different types of trash in Japan that you might need to be aware of. For example, when you go to a fast food restaurant like McDonald's or Moss Burger, and you have liquid, or even Starbucks, and you have liquid in your cup, you do not throw the cup with the liquid into the trash can. There is a funnel, where you pour the liquid into it so that you can put the empty cup into the trash can. And then sometimes the trash cans are separated. So there is a side for recycling, and then there's a side for regular trash. So you really need to look around, look at the signs, like Sean said, and dispose of your trash properly.
Another thing I'd like to point out is a lot of times next to vending machines, there's a plastic trash can looking thing that has a small circle on it. That circle designates it as something to put either cans or plastic bottles through. It is not a trash can. It's not a Starbucks cup depository neither. It is specifically for plastic bottles, which they call PET bottles here, and aluminum cans, and that's it. So one of the pet peeves that's been going on with tourism is people have been getting frustrated because tourists are just sticking regular trash in there, and that's not what it's meant for. And so one backlash that has happened is some people who own the vending machines have started taking their trash cans away. So that makes it a little bit more annoying because now you're carrying around a PET bottle with you constantly, whereas in the past you could just toss it in these little machine trash cans and be done with it. And that brings us to feet and shoes. The main thing to remember here is they are dirty. So basically, never put your feet on any place where somebody could sit. This includes putting your foot on a bench, whether it's outside or inside, putting your foot on a bench to tie your shoes, or putting your feet with your shoes on, especially on the seats of a train, just to rest your feet. So if you're sitting on a train and there's a seat across from you, don't prop your feet up on it. That's extremely a big faux pas. The other thing is taking your shoes off in the foyer of an entranceway. It's called a Genkan. So often at temples, you might have a foyer where you need to take your shoes off, and at some restaurants and ryokan. If there is the bamboo tatami flooring, you certainly should not wear outside shoes on the tatami flooring. And
or inside shoes.
Or inside shoes, right.
If you do take off your shoes and you put on slippers, then you should take your slippers off before you go on the bamboo tatami flooring.
Right. So bamboo tatami flooring is for bare feet or socked feet only, because basically the slipper or the shoe can tear it up. It's a bit fragile. So if you're in a place where you have to take your shoes off, like if you're staying at a ryokan or you go to a restaurant that requires you to take your shoes off, what you'll have, if you have to go to the restroom, you'll have toilet shoes there. So don't wear regular shoes or regular slippers, I should say, into the toilet room. If you open a toilet door and there's a pair of slippers right there when you open the door, that's the signal that, oh, okay, you wear these toilet slippers while you use the restroom. Putting your feet anywhere where someone might sit in public. So if it looks like it's a sitting area or a place where somebody might sit down, just keep your feet off of it. If you have to tie your shoes, don't prop your foot up on a bench. I recommend sitting on the bench and then just leaning over and tying your shoes.
Okay, next is queuing up. So basically, you want to make a straight line when you queue up. What seems to happen is us foreigners, we like to group together, and make a clump. So we're all kind of talking and having fun, and we make this big group. But if you're standing in line, it's better to make a single file straight line. And also, one person cannot hold the place for a group of people. If someone's holding your place, then you probably should both go to the back of the line. It's seen as rude for one person to hold the place for, say, 5 or 6 people, because the people behind that person are waiting also, and they didn't realize that there were an extra 5 or 6 people that they had to get behind. So it's better for everyone to go to the back of the line.
And the last one is photography, taking pictures. You're on vacation, you're going to want to take a lot of pictures, understandable. But just keep in mind that according to the Japanese law, you're not supposed to take photos of individuals unless you get their permission. This includes sneaking a photo. So if you ask someone if you can take their picture and they say no, you shouldn't kind of step away and then kind of sneak the photo. That's pretty frowned upon, and it just adds to the frustration of the way the Japanese are kind of feeling about tourism.
With all this said, you will see some people breaking the rules. They might be Japanese or foreign tourists. Our recommendation, though, is to follow the rules to have the most positive, enjoyable experience in Japan. I promise that if you follow the rules, you're going to be received by the Japanese people very warmly, and you're going to have an amazing trip. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and tell us your questions about traveling Japan in the comments section below. We might answer it in the next episode.
And for more information about traveling Japan, be sure to check out our website at japanandmore.com. Thanks for watching.